Because again, one of the biggest concerns for a lot of Xbox gamers and a lot of concerned PlayStation gamers is, well, Xbox Series X just can't hit 60 frames. Look at the backlash that happened with Avowed. It's 30 frames. That's what they wanted to do. I think it's going to have 60 by the time it comes out next year. I really do. I really believe that they're working on that right now. And for a lot of gamers, 60 is a big deal. People want to play in 60. I'm a graphics whore, so I'm okay with 30. But should there be a choice? And should Xbox first party have these choices? 1,000%. There is no rhyme or reason why Xbox first party shouldn't offer both a 30 and 60 mode on every one of their games. There's no excuses. I'm sorry, Xbox, be better. Offer the choice for your gamers. If somebody wants to experience game X in 60, let them do that. If somebody like myself who doesn't care about it, and I honestly don't, 30 is okay with me. Not a problem. Well, one of the biggest games coming out this year, Fuzzy Belvedere, is Indiana Jones and, of course, the Great Circle. And it has been confirmed by the resources that are available for you if you click on it. Now, what he put out there was the advertisement for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and it's download the console, right? So it's you can click it and preload it to your console. Interestingly enough, when you go into the deets here, Fuzzy Belvedere, it says playable on Xbox Series X and PC. Now, eventually, it's coming over to PlayStation 5. That's spring of next year. Fine. But here are the capabilities. And this is where we get the confirmation, folks, that it is, in fact, 60. It says 4K Ultra HD, HDR10, single player. It has VRR, ray tracing, Dolby Atmos, optimized for Series X and S, as well as, of course, all the regular roles, Xbox achievements, Xbox Presence, Xbox Clubs, Xbox Live, Xbox Cloud Saves. But circled in red, where I can see it and you can't because I have the story in front of me, 60 FPS. Lock it in. I think that this is, again, I saw the game behind closed doors. I didn't know whether it was 30, it was 60. I honestly thought it was 60, but I would never make any claims. Because I was on the NDA at that particular time, and I have no idea. I'm telling you, that game looked so good. And now, Fuzzy, we have it confirmed at 60 frames. I think that's a really big deal. Let's get into it.
Well, I think a lot of people forget Machine Games has been doing 60 frames games for a while. And while the graphical fidelity on what we've seen so far of Indiana Jones looks amazing, they've had great fidelity for their Wolfenstein games for years. So knowing that their games were 60 frames, it only makes sense that this one would be 60 frames as well, just because of the studio that's working on it. Between them and between Machine Games and id, they've had this ability to do this for some time. So I'm not quite as surprised as many or as some may be by hearing that it's 60 frames. But with them listing that on the site, it does give me a little bit more of hope that when Avowed does launch early next year, that it will have its 60 frames mode at that launch time. If it doesn't, that's fine. It'll more than likely come shortly thereafter. But yeah, Machine Games have been great at these things. The only thing that they take a little bit of a hit on was that the what do you call it? The Wolfenstein daughters, the twin daughters. That game,
terrible.
That one didn't go over so well. Now I did like the different variety of like rarity for some of the weapons and gear. And some of the like RPG-esque kind of things that they mixed in, although how they tried to implement the monetization for that, that's where it kind of fell apart. And the story wasn't their usual level of quality. But all of that said, that also ran at 60 frames. So Machine Games, they're on their game. They've been basically doing this for some time where they can get the most out of the hardware visually as well as performance wise. So no surprise there for me. But yeah, it's going to be a great thing to see that this game winds up being 60 frames at launch. For those that want those like performance modes, you probably won't even have to worry about a performance mode versus a fidelity mode type of thing. Because they've been able to churn out awesome looking stuff for over a decade at this point. But yeah, it's great that the Series X has first party games that can be 60 frames at launch. Most of them wind up with the 60 frames coming later, but yeah, this one's nice to have at launch, and hopefully this will be a sign of more things to come. Considering how I would say, even though this game was developed before they were acquired, or at least the storyboarding and stuff, and the I guess the pre-work stuff was already worked on beforehand, but it's good to see that they're utilizing the tools, or at least making it so it's going to be performing on the series consoles. And looking forward to this thing in December, because this is definitely going to be a classic. I think it may not be the barn burner as far as sales numbers. I don't think it's going to do 20 mil or anything along those lines across the platforms, but I do think it's going to have quite a few players on the Xbox platform, as well as more than enough sales to satisfy that Disney contract on it. So we'll see how that goes. But 60 frames, hey, proud of them. I'm glad that they were able to get that up to 60 frames. But like I said, they've been doing that for a while, so it's kind of to be expected.
Well, I mean, listen, Indiana Jones for the younger generation, I don't know if it's going to hit, because like I'm an old man, so of course Indiana Jones for me is like, yes, let's freaking go. Though, why I'm even more excited about this game, and again, this is for the OGs in the chat, right? Remember a development house called Starbreeze, right? Well, they're an old school, no longer existing studio, and Starbreeze made a particular game, a pair of games, with Riddick in it.
Oh yeah.
Now those games are, even by today's standards, still playable in the best way possible, and a lot of that team came over from Starbreeze when they closed Machine Games. And I'm telling you, folks, again, I got a chance to see some stuff behind the scenes, stuff I'm not allowed to talk about, but I can say what I saw as a fan of Riddick, who appreciates that old school Starbreeze team. I felt like the DNA was here. The interactions, the voiceovers, the way the story was being told. And one of the things that and again, I'm not breaking any NDAs here. It's not going to be straightforward A, B, C, D. You're going to have the ability to go and look for hidden stuff. There's side missions that you can totally miss if you're not looking for it. That has me super stoked. I'm definitely going to drop 50, 60 hours into this game. And it's going to, and again, folks, I haven't played it. I only saw it. And what I saw has me incredibly hyped. I cannot wait for December. I'm hopefully going to be able to review it. I'm still waiting for that clarification. They invited me, so at least I have that. I got the door open there. Maybe we get a chance to review it. I freaking cannot wait. Super stoked for this.